Hello guys, Amatras here, just coming at you with another quick video. This is going to be a video demonstrating how to build your own VGO Trading Site. So this website, as you can see here, was developed by me. This is being released open source, so essentially you're free to use this for commercial purposes or not, in any way you see fit whatsoever. You can take this code, do whatever you want, host your own site, and this is going to be free of charge to you. So why have I done this? Yeah, that's probably a good question. There was OP Skins competition. Now, this is unrelated to the OP Skins competition, but this is like a follow-up video to the last one that I made. They wanted you to demonstrate how to integrate expresstrade into a website, but of course I was going to take it a little step further, and I made an open source one so that people can not only learn from the code that I've made and look at what I'm doing, but that anyone can set up a website now themselves, a website like this. So obviously I have an example of the website that I've made at trade.gain.gg. This has just been thrown up just on a website that I own already, just to give you an example of what's going on. So a link to that'll be in the description. And yeah, basically, this is obviously I'm not getting paid for this. This is just simply I've just made this because I really kind of felt like it. So my Digitalocean referral link is on here that you can click on and go to that if you want. If you sign up under my referral link, if you deposit $5, then you will get an extra $10 for free on Digitalocean. So I'll show you how to host this on Digitalocean. Digitalocean is actually very good. I genuinely do recommend this. I'm not just doing it for the referrals. The referrals are nice, but I use Digitalocean. I would use it regardless of whether I got referrals from it or not. And yeah, it would really help me out if you click the referral link there, just to give something back to me. Anyway, let's just get straight on with the tutorial. I'll show you first how the actual site works. It's just the same as any other trading website. It's basic. It didn't take me too long to make this, but this is more of just an example of what you can do with the Wax expresstrade API. So we're just going to click trade here. As you can see, the trade offer sent very, very quickly. We can accept the trade, whatever, and the items will have been exchanged. Hopefully. So there we are. The items have been exchanged. The site doesn't have too many features. It's fairly basic, but the point of this was just to show you what you can do. So the first step basically that you're going to want to do is you can click view source on here, trade.gain.gg. Or you can just come straight here. I'll put a link to this in the description as well. And yeah, so this is all the code that this website consists of, is right on here. So I'm going to do a setup first. I'll show you how to host this locally on your own machine so that you can play about with it. And then I'll show you how to deploy it to Digitalocean, how to assign a website name to this. And then yeah, you can own your own website and get the bot up and running. So first of all, what you're going to do is just download the zip. You're going to extract this to your desktop, and I'll be right back whenever I've done that. Okay then guys, so before we get started, we're going to want to install Node.js on our computer. So you can go to nodejs.org, and there should be a link for Windows download and a link for Mac download. If you're a Mac, if you're on Linux, then I'll have the commands for downloading on Linux in the description. Once you've got that downloaded, we're ready to go. Okay then guys, so once you've extracted this code, so I put it in desktop, trade tutorial, and then inside of here, so I'm actually just going to move this stuff inside of just trade tutorial, just so that it's sitting in there. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to open up a command line. So you'll be command line on Windows, or if you're on Mac or Linux, then you'll be on terminal. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to change into the directory that you're in, that this stuff is in. So if you don't know anything about command line, the easy way to do this then is what you can do is you can copy and paste this up here. then if you're on Windows, you can copy and paste this. So I'm actually on my D drive, I'm on my second hard drive. So to change hard drives, you can just do C:" or D:" depending on what hard drive you have. Then what you're going to want to do is you type in CD. Then the easy way to do it is to just copy and paste this here, paste it in there, and click enter, and you're going to be in the directory now. So the first step in this is to just type in npm-i. So what this does is this installs all the node modules that you're going to need, all the dependencies for my website to run properly. And so once that shouldn't take too long. So once that's done, then you're going to want to open up the config file. In fact, I'm just going to open this whole thing in brackets here. So inside of what you're going to first do then is you're going to go inside of this config and then inside of the config file. So as you can see, there is a lot of configuration in here, and I'll do my best right now to explain everything that you really need. So first of all then, I'll just go down the list and explain what everything does. So admin Steam IDs then, it won't check an admin. It won't check if it won't check the values of the items. Any trade that goes through, it'll just automatically send if it's an admin sending the trade. So these are going to be Steam IDs, and as you can see, I put an example here which just shows the kind of structure that an array goes in. So yeah, you're going to want to put it in quotes, and you're going to want to put a comma after each one and then another one. And if blank, we just leave it like this, which is an empty array. And we need these things at the end. This is for an array. Yeah, if you're not a developer, I'm just going to use non-technical terms, you need these things. So yeah, instead of author then, so what this will do is we have a name and then we have a profile link. So for example, if you're running the site on your own, you probably won't want site by Almatraz. So that's what shows there. So we can do name and then Almatraz, but that's just going to be like whatever your name is, and there's going to be your profile link wherever you want to link to. It could be GitHub profile, whatever you want. Then we have a site name. Now this site name, yes, so this version of site name is going to be for up here. So this is going to be site name in here and then trade VGO. And then as you can see then, whenever we send a trade, as you can see, the site name is in here. No, sorry. No, I've got that wrong. That's the trade message, sorry. So yeah, in here, that's really the only purpose of that then. Just for this title up here. Going down then, we have login name. So this name is going to be on the login screen. So as you can see, whenever we click OP-Skin sign in on here, trade.gain.gg wants to be able to. So that's what shows up there. We also have a trade message that we can include with each trade offer. We have a return URL. So inside of here then, /auth/op-skin/authenticate, that needs to be there. Then across here then, this all needs to be kept the same really. But if you're on your own website then, you're going to want to change this in here to whatever your site's called. So for me, for example, trade.gain.gg, and this would work fine here. If you're on HTTPS, you can do HTTPS, whatever you like. But yeah, that needs to go inside of there. For the port then, as I've put in here, don't change this unless you're reverse proxying. If you're going to run it on a custom port, you can do, and then reverse proxy it. But yeah, generally for you guys that don't know what you're doing really, you just keep this port on port 80 and you'll be fine. For the OP-Skins API key and the OP-Skins secret, I think in the last one I demonstrated how to get those, but I'm just going to demonstrate it again. So what you're going to first do is you're going to come over to OP-Skins. You're going to click on account. You're going to come here to advanced options, and down here you see API key. Now you will have to have two-factor authentication enabled for this, and I recommend using the Authenticator app on Google Chrome then to set this up then, because you're going to need to export the files then to get the secret. So whenever you get your API key and you agree to the API terms and conditions, you come on here and you'll need to re-enter your code just for security purposes, and you'll get your API key displayed here. I'm just not going to type mine in now. So to get your OP-Skin secret then, very simple in the Authenticator app. Once you import a profile in here, you just come to the settings up here, export/import, then we download backup file, and I'm just going to show you the code inside of authenticator.json now. Okay then guys, so once you download the backup file and you open it inside a text editor, this is the only real value that you want. So if you have multiple accounts here then, it'll look something like this with the different accounts coming down like that. But yeah, you're going to want to select the account that you want. So in my case, it's Almatraz in here. And the only thing that you need is this secret value in here. So you're going to just want to take the secret value, you're going to copy and paste it into there, and that's going to be your OP-Skins secret setup. Okay then, so that's kind of the important stuff out of the way now. So the stuff down here is more or less kind of optional down here. So we have rates. So what I recommend for the rates, I just kind of made this up, but I have like a so we pay full price then for a user's key, but the bot sells the keys at 1.05, so that's basically a 5% profit on that. Then for for anything else that are not keys then, we pay we pay 0.9, which is 90% then, and we sell for 95%, so another 5% profit on that. We have the min maxes here, so this is going to be in US dollars. So the minimum that they can trade in, the maximum that they can trade in, the minimum that the bot can give out, and the maximum that the bot can give out. You're probably going to more want to customize the user values in here as opposed to the bot ones, because they don't really matter. For the banned bot items, and the banned user items. Any name that we put in here is going to be automatically banned from being accepted. So for example, in here then, if I type in for the banned bot items, skeleton key, it needs to be exact. It needs to follow capitals. And yeah, this just needs to be the exact name. If you want to add more, then you can do the exact same thing where you just put a comma here, more, and more in here. So we just follow this pattern, as you can see down here, just to make sure that you don't mess anything up in here. So we're not going to have any banned bot items at the minute. For banned user items then, exact same thing. We have refresh timeouts. So this is going to be how much time we have to wait between a user refreshing their inventory and refreshing again. Now I have made it so that their inventory is cached on the server, and that if they refresh in between this time, it'll just show the cached version of it so that they're not stuck without anything being displayed. Then in here, the bot inventory will automatically update every so many seconds. So for example, in here then, I've set the bot inventory refresh time to 30 seconds. You can set this to whatever you want. I'd recommend, 30 or under basically. And finally, the pull interval. So this is going to be the time that we wait for checking OP skins offers. You really don't need to worry about this at all unless you're getting like Cloudflare errors or something like that. You're being rate limited by OP skins, but generally you don't need to touch this. If you do have to touch this, bring it to 10 and 15. You can move it up in 5-second intervals if you're having problems. Okay then, so now that you've edited everything inside a config, I've made this super simple, so that's all that you need to change. You don't need to touch any of the site code or anything like that. So basically what you're going to do then is, sorry, I should maybe go into, if you're looking to change the logo, so for example then, yeah, I was signing in there. For example then, for the logo up here, for this fav icon up here then, so inside of the public folder, inside of images, then you're going to have your images in here. So essentially just name them the same thing then. So you can name fav icon, just replace this, and replace this. If you're going to use PNGs inside of here then, basically all you do is just find it in the code. So all the HTML is going to be inside the views file and inside of partials. So for example then we have nav. So all that we would do is go into nav, we find the image. So for example, I'm using an SVG in here, as you can see. Instead of SVG, you just change this to .png, and the same down here, and then you can just replace it in here. But just make sure that you name it the same thing. So yeah, apart from that, yeah, you can go and muck about yourself and change whatever you like. As I say, I made this open source. So we're using handlebars as an engine here. So as you can see, it's not one HTML file. So this is our index file. And then we have all our different partials in here that we inject into the web page. So there's the head up at the top. There's the main trade section. There's there's modals section. There's a middle section. And then there's a nav section as well. So I have these all separated out so into little modules, so they're very easy to work with, very easy to know where they are, and you guys shouldn't have too many problems with editing it up, especially if you're familiar with HTML. Now we're actually ready just straight away to run this locally. So I'm actually just going to fill in my OPSkins API key and secret values in here, and then we'll get the site up and running. Okay then guys, so now that we've filled in our config file, we're ready to go with hosting the site. So we can do this on our own computer then. So you're going to want to come back to your command line then. So we need to be in the directory of, we need to be inside of the directory where all the files are. So that's this directory here, where you can see these files here, you know, the config, the server views, this directory here. So as I say, we can just copy and paste that then if you want an easy way to do it. CD and then to where you want to go. So I'm already in the directory there. And from now, it's very easy to just start the server locally. You just type in npm start. Now what you're going to want to do is, if you're running Apache at the minute, you're going to want to turn Apache off. Because that's going to mess up, especially that we're running on port 80 and Apache's going to be running on port 80 as well. So if you get an error that says like already in use error on port 80, then you're basically just going to want to turn off your Apache server. We can't have that running at the same time. So once this is set up and ready here, we can simply just go to a web browser. We just go to localhost, and as you can see, we have a local copy now of the server running. But it's going to be your bot in here, obviously. So this is an identical version of my site. We can use the OPSkins sign-in. Everything that you changed in config there will cause this site to work. I've made it in every way so that you can just fill in the config file with your details and just get started straight away. So this literally could not be easier. So yeah, you can just mess about with this code right now, change whatever you like about it if you know HTML. And now I'll get started on deploying this to an external server so that you can actually host the website for the outside world to access. Okay then guys, so basically first of all what you're going to want to do is go to Digitalocean. So basically Digitalocean is probably the best hosting company, very cheap as well. And I certainly use them to host all my websites, and yeah, you should probably use them. And plus the fact that you get a $10 bonus then if you deposit $5 if you're using my referral link. So make sure that you use my referral link. Not only will I get a bonus, you will get a bonus. It works out for everyone. So create a new project then if you don't have one. I've just made one called Tutorials, and we're going to click Get Started with a Droplet, or you can go up here, Create and Droplets. Once you're in here then, we can just leave this at Ubuntu 16. We can select the $5 a month plan because $5 a month is plenty for what we're doing, and you could even have multiple sites running on this server that you create right now. Then what we do is we select a region, so we can select this. We can select SSH keys if we want it. Now for the purposes of this tutorial, I'm not going to use SSH keys. If you don't know what they are, then don't even worry about it. You're just going to be authenticating with a password. If you're using SSH keys, you don't need a password. So then choose a host name. We can just leave this wax-tutorial, it doesn't matter, and we're going to click create. So I'm going to be right back whenever my droplet is created. Okay then guys, so basically once you've set up your droplet and the droplet's created, Digitalocean are going to send you an email which is going to look something like this. So as you can see, there's an IP address in here, we have the username which is always going to be root, and we have a password in here which is what we need. So before we use this stuff, we're going to need two different programs. We're going to need a program called Putty, and we're going to need a program called Filezilla. So Putty is going to be our command line for accessing the server, and Filezilla is going to be our file transfer protocol for accessing the server by transferring files across to get our files, our server files, onto the actual server so we can run it on the server and we don't have to have our computer running all the time. So first of all then, we're going to go to Putty if we can, and so basically in here then, for the host name, we're going to type in the IP address in here, and we're just going to simply click open. So there will be a dialog that pops up here that says like could not verify the key. We just click yes to that and it will let us access this command line. So we're always going to be logging in as root here, and then for the password then we're going to enter in this password that we got from Digitalocean. So as I said, they're going to make us change the password straight away, so I'm just going to change the password here now. Once we change the password then we're basically into the server now. So the first step that we're going to need to do is to install Node.js. So I'll have the commands for that in the description, and let me just get the commands now. Okay then guys, so basically now that we're inside of the server then, we have a few commands that we need to run. So first command that we're going to do is apt-get update. And basically this is just going to update because it's the first time that we get on this, and as you can see that was very, very quick. So now we're going to need a few commands to install Node.js. So I actually have the commands sitting here. They're going to be in the description, and we just copy and paste these in and it's just going to roll. So I'm just going to keep the video running just for these commands, just so that you can see exactly what you should expect. We click Y and click enter for that whenever it asks us. That's just yes. And then we have one final command after this. We click Y and then enter again. Okay then guys, so now after that's loaded then, we're basically just going to type in, node -v just to make sure that node was installed, and we type in npm -v as well. Now if you can see these numbers here, they might be slightly different on yours than mine, but if you see a response on here with these different numbers, then it means that everything was successful and that we're ready to go. So basically we're going to use npm, which is the node package manager. We're going to use this to install something that we're going to need to host this forever. So we're going to type in npm i-g pm2, and so this is basically going to install a module that we're going to need to run the server forever, and this will also spawn a new process then. If the server ever crashes or our process ever goes down, the pm2 will just automatically restart the process again as a new process. Okay then guys, so now that you have pm2 installed, you're going to want to go to Filezilla at this point. Now inside of host in here then, we're going to type in the IP address out of here. We're going to type in username, which is going to be root. We're going to type in our password, which is going to be the password that you made, and we're going to go on to port 22 inside of here. So as you can see in here then, we obviously have our root directory in here. So we're going to go up here until we're in this slash, and basically we can create a new file in here. Sorry, create a new directory, I mean. So I'm just going to call this like VGO Trade, but it could be called whatever you want. We enter the directory. Then inside of here, then, basically what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to type in the directory of where you have your files in here, just for simplicity. So we can just copy and paste this in here where you have your files. Click enter in here, and we're going to have our files in here. So this is very important. You're going to want to transfer all these files in here across to VGO Trade, but you're going to unselect the node modules. That's very important. Otherwise, you're going to be waiting forever for this to upload. Seriously, it's going to take so long to upload. It could take an hour to upload. I have no idea, but it's going to take a long time to upload if you have node modules in there. But this is going to be very, very quick transfer then if you leave the node modules out. Then what we're going to want to do is we're going to come to our command line again. Now, as you can see, the remote site directory is /VGO Trade. So all that we need to type in the command line here is cd/VGO Trade, and that will be us in the directory. And if we want, we can type in ls as well, and we can see the files in here, and we can see that all the files are correct from what's in here. So we have one important step that we did earlier, which is going to be npm I. So basically this installs the node modules then, which is miles quicker than transferring the node modules across, because that will take a very, very long time for the server to process all those files. Okay then, so now that we have those installed then, we're basically just going to type in npm start, and as you can see, the server will be running at this point. So if we go to this IP address in a browser then, and we click enter, as you can see, the site is now running on the internet on this IP address. So if you want, you can share this IP address with your friends, and yeah, they can come on to. Sorry, yeah, you'll need to change your config file at this point. So I'll show you how to do this. Okay, so inside of Filezilla, you can just right click on any file and you can click view/edit, and you're going to be able to edit this. So basically, at this point then, we want to edit the config file so that it redirects back to whatever our IP address is on the site. So our IP address at the minute is going to be this IP address. So for the return URL then, we're just going to do HTTP, and then we're going to put our IP address inside of here. So obviously I just took my API key and secret out for this, but you're going to just save this, upload this back to the upload this back to the server, sorry, and I'm just going to fill in my details here and see if the site works. Okay then guys, so at this point then, anytime you make changes to the server files, you're going to have to restart the server. So we just click Control-C then, or Command-C if you're on a Mac, and then we can just type in npm start again, and the server will be running again. So now we should be able to visit this in a web browser. If we copy this, we view it in a web browser, we click sign in, we can approve this. We're signed in successfully, and now we can just go ahead straight away and make trades. And yes, so this site then, I don't think I'm actually in this video, I'm not going to show you how to link your domain with this IP address. There are plenty of tutorials out there on doing that. Just type in, like how to link an IP address with a domain. So then you can buy your own domain. You can buy whatever domain you want, link it to this IP address, and then you'll be able to, go out and advertise the site. Okay then guys, so we basically have a final step to this. So basically, if we just Control-C out of this process, the process is ended. So if we refresh this page, the site can't be reached. So basically, we've ended the process at this point, and it's no longer running. But that was the point of our PM2 module. So basically, whenever we quit off this console, if we're just running normal Node, it's not going to, it's not going to keep running. It's just going to end whenever we close the terminal. So we're going to want to keep this running forever on our server, because we don't want this, we don't want to keep our computer on running all the time. So what we can do is we can use this PM2 to spawn the process, and this will automatically restart it if the server crashes. So even if your server has a problem, it will just automatically restart, and you don't even need to manually restart it at any point. So the syntax of this is very, very simple. So I'm just going to ls so that I can see what's in here. So obviously we have our server folder in here, and if we cd into server, we can see that this index is the file that we're actually going to want to run. So if we just cd .. and we are in our main folder right now. So inside of here then, we can do pm2 start, which is the command, and then we type in the file name that we want to start. So in this case, it's .. which is the current directory that we're in. Then we can go server, then we can go /, and then we're going to type in index.js and click enter. And as you can see, it spawned a new process for us called index. Now, at this point then, we're going to be able to access it again. But at this point, we can Control-C, we can quit off this console, and the site will still be running. If you want logs at any point of what's happening, you can go PM2 logs index, and you'll be able to see all of the logs out of here. If you want to view logs, like a lot of logs then, you can do this from Filezilla as well. You just come here, you go to root, you can go to, if I refresh this, .pm2, logs, and inside of here then you'll have an index out. So you can actually just click on view/edit. And as you can see, all the logs will actually be logged in there as well. So, as I didn't demonstrate yet, whenever we send a trade, sorry, this is just loading. Whenever we send a trade then, it's going to log out, sent trade, awaiting accept, and the offer ID. So if we just go ahead and accept this offer, then we can see what it logs out to us, which is why you can check these logs then. So you can see accepted trade, we have the bot value, we have the user item value. This shows us how much profit we made out of the trade. This shows the name of the person, the Steam ID, the user ID, and the offer ID. So you're getting quite a lot of information there about the trade, and you can kind of keep a track of everything that's going on with this website. But yeah guys, for now, this was the full tutorial on how to set this up. I'll maybe make a written guide as well, a more detailed written guide on here, just showing you exactly how to do everything, and some technicalities of maybe even a future video that if I make an update video possibly of how to change some of the HTML, how to change it so that it's more of your own site. But yeah, this was basically the whole video. Now I hope you enjoyed. I tried to keep it as short as possible, and any questions please leave them in the comments. Please give me a star on GitHub. Please use my Digitalocean link, and yeah, there's nothing really more I ask. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.